guys, it's Lindsay. Welcome back to another video. It's been a hot minute. I know it's been a couple of months since my last upload, which is right before my husband and I and my daughter, Georgia, here she is, went to visit my family in Canada. And so all my relatives could meet Georgia for the first time, including her other set of grandparents, Nana and Grandpapa. Hello, everybody. You want to join me for this video? Well, this video is actually about what I learned traveling with a toddler. So Georgia actually turns 21 months tomorrow. Tomorrow is June the 17th. And when we were traveling, hi, yeah, but we're not going bye-bye yet though, honey. Hello. When we traveled, yeah, don't cover your face with mommy's notes though. When we left on our trip, okay, do you want to play with your purse? She was about to turn, I believe, 19 months old. So that was in April, and we were gone for a month. And on the way back, since my husband had left a week earlier than us, I traveled back on the airplane alone with this one, who was she was 19 months at that point, almost 20. And I might need to film this video another day. Georgia, why don't you continue playing with your doll, honey? Keep playing with your doll. Yeah. You know, she was so content a minute ago taking her little doll around on the stroller. I thought, let's try and get this show on the road with this video. Okay, so I wanted to try and see if I could make this kind of a quick video just with some tips. So we did an international trip because I live in Italy, and so northern Italy all the way to Vancouver. It's a long trip. So we've got 2 hours plus the layover plus 9 hours with a toddler. Very fun. She actually did really well, and I must say I was actually watching videos before I left and asking my parents for advice, saying, you know, what on earth am I supposed to do to bring with her for the age she's at. She isn't really super interested in, well, she doesn't really have much of an attention span at the moment, right, at this age, and she's like just barely into coloring. She'll color like 5 minutes. If it's 10 minutes that she's coloring for, it's like a real success. You know, didn't want to bring anything with that rolls, because then she could lose it. So, because some of the other tips I had seen were to bring, you know, sticker books and coloring books and things that I think, it's okay, honey, are better if she's probably closer to 2. But since she was closer to being 1.5 years old, a lot of that stuff threw me off because I was like, yeah, but she's not into that yet. I actually want to get her a sticker book very soon to see if she might be interested, because I gave her a sticker the other day and she actually played with it for like 5 minutes. So now that she's like almost 21 months old, I'm starting to see that stuff, since we're heading towards 2 years, is different. But when we were traveling, that stuff was like useless because I was like, she's not into it, right? So my mom gave these tips, and so I'm going to pass them on to you. Really, at around 1.5 years, also younger, really, bring lots of snacks. So I packed my diaper bag, and I have like 2 diaper bags. I've got like her diaper bag and then my like diaper bag purse, because my stroller came with a diaper bag, so I kind of have 2. I packed them full of lots of snacks, and as for toys, don't bring anything that they can like throw that's hard, because I apparently did that when I was 1 year old. I threw farm animals at other people in the flight. So Don't do, don't do that, was my mom's advice. So I didn't bring any kinds of hard toys. I brought one stuffed animal. If your child is attached to a stuffed animal, great idea to bring that. Mine doesn't really have a favorite stuffed animal, really. She's got this one from a friend of mine that she seems to be more attached to, but like even then, not always. So I brought that one, but she never wanted it. I brought 3 books, and then, this was one of the things too, when you're flying, especially since I had the carry-on and then the toddler, and I didn't really have a lot of space underneath my chair. She was a lap child, right? I had the books and stuff up, and then, so I would get my husband to get them. We took out 1 book on the flight going there and on the flight going back. And on the flight going back, I had a really hard time even trying to reach the bag up above the seats in the end too, because then a bunch of other people, obviously that's part of it, right, had put their bags on top of mine, and I couldn't reach it to move them. And so quite honestly, how I survived the flight was with 1 book and a lot of snacks and some bottles. So I had 2 bottles, and on the way there, she had the powder for her formula. And so I just got the air flight attendants to fill it up with some warm water. That worked great. On the way back, Jan, do you want a granola bar? Okay, here. Can we sit you in your high chair? And on the way back, before I left, my parents' house, I filled up a bottle with just whole milk, and I gave that to her while it was still cold at the airport. And then at a certain point on the plane, I just went up to the airline attendants and I said, "Do you have any milk by chance?" And that time I think they gave me 2%. Because Georgia had pointed at her bottle and she wanted milk. So that's what I did with milk. So yeah, that actually worked quite well in terms of like the milk. And then we just had, anytime she was getting fussy or whatever, try and bring out the snacks. As for entertainment, I did bring, my mom suggested no more than 4 crayons or markers and a coloring book. I brought it out, but she wasn't into it. So really, what interested my daughter the most? And this was great, actually. If you're not on an international flight, this isn't really going to be available, but the map function on the international flight, she really loved that, and it was a big hit. And she spent the majority of the flight on the way to the airport, the Vancouver airport, just playing with the map. So that was actually great. I tried to turn on TV programs, wasn't interested. So the map. So really the key here is lots of snacks, bring some milk, or at least bring a container where they can drink their milk out of. And depending on what works best for you and your toddler. And if you have a screen on an international flight, best thing ever. And that was honestly what I went with, and just walk up and down the plane, if she was getting restless. And then on the way back, on the way to Canada, I did not give her, there's like this brand, at least in Italy, called Humana, and they have something called melanoltripto. It is a medicine to help your child fall asleep. I'll show you. This is what I brought, and it's just for if they're really not able to settle, right? And so I took this because I thought, okay, my mom had recommended something like that, and I said, okay, if she was restless. So I didn't use it at all going to Canada because I didn't want to mess up with her like nap schedule and all that. And I was like, oh no, like I don't want to screw up and have her then be like super wide awake, and get really kind of screwed up with jet lag. So I didn't use it going there. And actually we fell into a routine quite easily that time. She didn't really suffer too much jet lag, I have to say. We got back into a routine right away, which is another thing. Do your best to try and get back into your routine as quickly as possible with your kids. What did you lose your there we go, your granola bar. Just like you do with yourself, right? Try to go to bed as close to your normal day as possible. Probably that first night, it's gonna be rough. So do your best, don't stretch it to the point where they're like overtired, because they're probably already overtired anyway by the time you get to your destination. But just try, to be from that next day, from that next morning, try to get onto your routine. It's the best thing that you can do, really. And on the way coming home, I gave her some Melano because we were walking up and down the plane and we'd done that, and we had given all the snacks, and she didn't want snacks, and she didn't really want anything, honestly, and she was starting to get fussy and restless. And I looked at the time and I thought, okay, technically this would actually be her bedtime, because I think it was somewhere around what would have been 9 at night. I can't quite remember because this was like a month ago. And so I thought, you know what, it shouldn't, in theory, mess her up. So it took a while to kick in that time, because this particular brand, also the pharmacist said to me, like, really, to make it work well, you should actually take it for like a week straight. I kind of tend not to ever listen to that because I don't really want to give it to her unless it's absolutely necessary. But it did settle her down, and she had a nap, and it helped her kind of fall asleep, because then both ways she did have a bit of a temper tantrum, which, that's gonna happen. You're on a plane, it's a confined space with a toddler, it happens. And so, but she did well, and because on the way going to Canada, we ran into the fact that she got overtired and could not sleep, and one of the temper tantrums was because she was so tired and could not sleep. So but anyway, that's an option. If it's something that you're interested in, you can think about something like that. I don't know, in North America, maybe Tylenol or something to help. And actually it was great because it ended up that just by some chance of luck, on all of the times that we were landing, she was always asleep. On the main flight. On the first one, she actually was giggling and laughing when we took off and landed. So on the very first flight, leaving our home airport in Italy. But anyway, overall, of course, it's your toddler is probably going to have some moments where they lash out, but keep them fed, walk around the plane, like I said. And if they are a young toddler like mine, snacks is really the option, because honestly, as for toys, she didn't play with anything and she didn't really want to listen to the books that I was reading her either. So one other thing that I just wanted to mention in the airport was that if the airport has one of those carts that you can push around, that you could put your child in, it is a lifesaver, because out of all the airports I went to, only the Vancouver airport had that option, unfortunately. And I did not have a stroller with me because my parents didn't have room in their car with all of our luggage and our suitcase, so I had to cart her around because she was running off on me all the time, frequently. And actually that was really difficult on the way home when it was just me and her. And she thought it was great fun to run off sometimes every 30 seconds from me. It was very stressful. And I had to run after her, we'd drop all my bags. But at that Vancouver airport, they actually had, at some point, because I didn't find it right away, they actually had like the the little trolleys that you could put your child in, and it was the best thing ever because then she was happy. She thought it was great fun, and I could feed her snacks, and there you go. So that's the key. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like down below. It's kind of like a tips / my own experience, telling my own experience of going through the airport with a young toddler. And yeah, I hope that you found it useful and also entertaining with some of my stories. So anyway, thank you for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye!